There is a quiet illusion that follows many people through life. It whispers that they are meant for something greater, something rare, something above the ordinary. It does not rush them. It does not demand proof. It simply sits there, like a dim light in the distance, convincing them that one day everything will make sense. But that light is not always guidance. Sometimes it is a distraction, because while they are staring at what they could become, something else is happening in the background. Their time is being spent, their opportunities are passing, and slowly, almost invisibly, their potential begins to rot. Mediocrity does not feel like a fall. It feels like standing still in a room that is slowly filling with water. At first, nothing seems wrong. The level rises quietly, inch by inch. There is still space to breathe, still time to act. But hesitation becomes habit. Days are postponed. Effort is delayed. And before long, the same room that felt safe becomes suffocating. Research on wasted potential shows that many individuals carry early signs of ability, but fail to develop them due to distraction, avoidance, or lack of direction. The danger is not the absence of talent. It is the illusion that talent will wait. Ego is what keeps the door closed while the water rises. It does not always shout. It does not need to. Sometimes it speaks softly, telling you that certain work is beneath you, that you could succeed if you actually tried, that your time has not come yet. It builds a version of yourself in your mind that does not match your actions. And instead of correcting the actions, you protect the image. This creates a gap, a widening distance between who you believe you are and what you repeatedly do. Over time, that gap becomes too large to ignore, but by then, it feels easier to defend it than to close it. There is a pattern that repeats itself in many lives. Thinking replaces doing. Planning replaces starting. Imagining replaces building. Psychological research suggests that hidden self-beliefs can trap individuals in cycles of delay, where intention exists but action does not follow. The mind becomes a place of constant preparation, but nothing is ever executed. It is like sharpening a blade endlessly, never using it, until it dulls from disuse anyway. Real-life experiences reflect this with unsettling clarity. In discussions about wasted potential, one person described it as something that slowly turns against you. Your potential is crying out for realization. Later it turns into regret. It does not disappear suddenly. It lingers. It waits. And then one day, it changes form. It becomes a quiet awareness that time was spent, but not invested. Comfort accelerates this decay. Modern life offers endless ways to stay occupied without moving forward. Screens, entertainment, distractions, all designed to fill time without requiring effort. Psychology explains that these patterns act as avoidance mechanisms, keeping individuals in cycles of passive consumption. What feels like rest becomes a habit of escape. And over time, the mind adjusts. Effort begins to feel unnatural. Discipline feels heavy. And comfort, once a break, becomes a cage. For those once labeled as talented or gifted, the trap deepens. Early success creates a false sense of security. Things come easily at first, so effort is never fully developed. But when real challenges appear, the absence of discipline becomes clear. Research shows that this can create internal conflict, where individuals feel they are not living up to their perceived potential. Instead of confronting this, many avoid situations that might expose the gap. They protect the idea of being capable rather than risking proof that they are not. Ego feeds this cycle relentlessly. It reframes inaction as patience. It turns avoidance into strategy. It whispers, "You are just waiting for the right moment." But the right moment is rarely found. It is created through action. Without action, time does not pause. It continues, indifferent, moving forward whether you do or not. There is also a resistance to effort itself. Many believe that if something does not come naturally, it is not meant for them. This belief quietly destroys growth. Development is not a straight path. It is repetition, failure, and adjustment. It is uncomfortable and often unrewarding in the beginning, but ego rejects this process. It prefers the idea of effortless success, and in doing so, it rejects the only path that leads to real improvement. Comparison adds another layer of distortion. Watching others succeed can either challenge you or protect your ego. It is easier to assume others had advantages, easier to dismiss their work, easier to reduce their effort to luck. This keeps your self-image intact, but it prevents progress. Because as long as you believe others are not truly better, you do not feel the need to become better yourself. The long-term effect of wasted potential is not loud failure. It is quiet dissatisfaction, a constant sense that something is missing, something unfinished. Psychology describes this as the emotional weight of unused ability, where frustration and regret build slowly over time. It is not about external judgment. It is internal. It is the awareness of what could have been, contrasted with what is. The idea of being unnoticed often follows. It feels like the world is ignoring you, but in most cases there is simply nothing visible to notice. Recognition follows output. If nothing is built, nothing is seen. The world does not overlook potential. It responds to evidence. Change begins with a difficult realization. You are not special, at least not yet. Not in a way that exempts you from effort. Not in a way that guarantees results. This is not an insult. It is a starting point, because once the illusion is removed, the process becomes clear. You stop waiting to be exceptional and start building something that is. Ego must be reduced, not eliminated, but controlled. It should not decide what work you are willing to do. It should not protect you from discomfort. When ego is quieter, learning becomes possible. Mistakes become information instead of threats. Structure becomes necessary. Motivation is unreliable. Systems are not. Research shows that consistent routines and habits create progress, even when motivation disappears. This is where change happens, not in moments of inspiration, but in repetition. Execution becomes more important than intention. Thinking has its place, but without action, it leads nowhere. Even imperfect action creates movement, and movement creates feedback. Without feedback, there is no growth. Self-awareness becomes a tool. Reflection exposes patterns that are otherwise invisible. It allows you to see where time is being wasted, where effort is missing, where ego is interfering. Without this awareness, nothing changes because nothing is questioned. Talent must be redefined. It is not something you possess, it is something you build. The idea of natural ability without effort is comforting, but it is incomplete. Real ability is developed over time through consistent work. The truth, when stripped down, is simple and uncomfortable. Most people do not fail because they lack potential. They fail because they never convert potential into action. They remain in a state of possibility, never moving into reality. Wasted talent does not explode. It decays. It fades into distractions, delays, and excuses. It becomes a life where nothing is completely wrong, but nothing is fully realized either. Like a blade left in the dark, it does not break. It rusts. And in the end, the difference between those who become something and those who do not is not hidden or complex. One faced the discomfort and acted. The other waited, believing they eventually would.